Hello there everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lydia's Crafty Corner with me, Lydia, in my little crafty corner. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how to create these cards, and I'm kind of stretching my supplies today. I'm using my re-inkers for my artist markers as actual beautiful alcohol inks in their own right. So I'm going to start with the alcohol marker refills that we have here for our artist markers, and I'm going to be using some blues, some pinks, some purples and some reds. You are going to want to choose colours that do stick together on the colour wheel, because you don't want lots of browny muddy colours when you do mix them, so oranges and greens do not mix very well. I'm using a piece of Yupo paper. I have found that this is the best for alcohol inks like this. So I'm going to add splodges of ink to my little piece of Yupo paper. So I'm using the beautiful Frosty pink, then that one was ruby red. This one I'm using is the midnight violet. I'm also going to be using some ocean waves and desert night. I'm spraying these around using a little bit of a ink spreader. I think this is one that you get for your markers, and you spray the ink that way. You could use a straw if you wanted to, but I did find that this worked really well. I've also added in a little bit of alcohol blending solution just to make the colours blend a little bit better. So that was the ocean waves that I've added in, and this is the desert night as well. I have found that I have added too much, but I did keep going. I did overwork this a little bit. But you're going to get different effects with how much ink that you do add down, how much you spray it around. It's totally up to you. Also, for a little bit of fun texture, I've added a little bit of mixative. So this is a little bit of rose gold mixative. And again, some more of that alcohol blending solution. So you can, you know, take your paper, move it around side to side, and that will give you a fun effect, as well as blowing it as well. There's lots of things that you can do with this, and I do find that it's really fun to play around with it because you're going to get different effects every time you do it. It's no other piece that you do is going to be exactly the same as the one that you've done before. So this one I've kind of gone in stripes. So I've added the desert night, the ocean waves, then some of the midnight violet down. You know, sprayed it a little bit just to mix them together. I've added some ruby red, and then I added some cotton candy as well to this one as well. So I'm just going to mix this around, add a little bit of the mixative, add some more of the beautiful blending solution just to mix them all together and just give it a really fun effect. I love the one that this kind of looks a bit like marble. So I have finished those, and I've moved those over to the side. I'm then going to cut my panel. So this is a panel of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 solid white cardstock, and I'm taking the floral frame die, and I'm going to cut this from the center of both of them. So both of the cards are going to be nearly the same. We're just going to add different backgrounds behind this die. So you do want to be very careful when you do release this die. Reason being, it's very delicate and very pretty at the same time, but I just find that doing it very slowly and gently, you are going to get the pieces out in one piece. And you could definitely use this inside piece that we have here as well as a card in its own right if you wanted to. It's very pretty, but I did move this over to the side once I had finished removing it from the piece that I wanted. So once I have done that, I'm then going to remove all the little landlocked areas. A good way to do this is to add it onto a piece of foam, and then take a little, like either a pokey tool or a little pin, and just poke the little pieces through. I do find that this works really well. There are little tools out there to do this for you, but I do find that just taking a little bit of time, a little foam mat and a little pin does it perfectly well as well. So once that is all done, I'm then going to move on to my dried pieces. So these are very pretty, and I love how they turned out and how they look completely different. This one also looks like a galaxy sky, which I do like. So I can then add these behind my heart. So there's two different ways to do this. You can either turn this piece over, which is the panel, add some glue behind, and then place this over the top where you want it to be, so you can see like a little window exactly what you're going to be seeing through it later on. So you can do it this way and then cut off all of the excess from behind. I kind of went under the card as well, just to save me more of my beautiful piece of alcohol ink background, so I can use this on something else later on. Or a different way to do it is to take the die cut that we're going to be placing over it, so we can find out where that's going to go, and then cut around this and then add this piece behind the panel. So it's completely up to you how you go about doing it, but here's just 2 ways that I did find worked really, really well. So as you can see, I'm just going to add the glue behind the panel again now, and then I can add that piece that we've just already pre-cut behind the heart, and you can play around again with that to see where it's going to look perfect, and then just trim off any of the excess pieces that are overhanging. So once these pieces are then adhered together, I'm then ready to pop in my little heart die cut that we've already taken out. So I'm just going to add some Altenew tape glue behind this. Reason being is it comes out in little tiny dots, so it's actually only going to stick where you want it to. It's not going to overhang any of those little delicate pieces. This works really, really well for this. You do need to be really careful because it's so delicate, but it works so well, and none of the adhesive is overhanging any of those small delicate areas. So once I have completely covered the back, well, not completely, just bits and bobs, I'm then going to add this back into that panel, and it just looks so pretty over that alcohol ink background. I do love it. So I've done exactly the same for the other one, and I've also added them onto a card base. I then have some sentiment strips. So these sentiments are from the Pretty Primrose, Delicate Primrose stamp set. I've just stamped them onto a piece of white cardstock onto a little strip using some jet black ink, and then added a little bit of foam tape behind them just to add a little bit of dimension to my cards, a little bit of interest, because everything else is really quite flat, but I still wanted to showcase off those beautiful backgrounds that we created with the alcohol inks. So here are the cards complete. I really do love how they turned out, and that they turned out really quite different, those backgrounds, so you can definitely play around with them and definitely play around with colours as well. That'll be really quite fun. So I really do hope that you've enjoyed the video and that you like the techniques of stretching your supplies using some alcohol refills for your markers as proper alcohol inks. So if you don't want to miss out on any videos that we do upload to the channel, it would be great if you do subscribe. And if you want to watch any more videos, there's a couple more here for you to watch at your own leisure. Again, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again really, really soon. Bye bye.